Assalamu alaikum students. I hope all of you are doing great. Here is your history teacher, and today we will see that which topic we are going to revise today. Well, today is our third, right, and let's see which topic we are going to revise. But before that, you have to open your books with you, and I suggest you to open page number 17. Okay, when you will open page number 17, you will see the reasons for the decline of the Mughal Empire. Okay, so now we will see that which reasons actually became the major cause of the decline of the Mughal Empire. I hope you have opened your books. Alright students, as because we had studied this chapter in much detail, so you all have a great idea that which were the reasons, right? So the decline basically started in the reign of Aurangzeb, but there was many other reasons as well. So let's see. A number of factors combined to bring about the fall of one of Asia's most famous dynasties. We are talking about the Mughals. So let's see that what was the nature of the empire when the empire was declining. At that time, what was the nature of the empire? Nature of the empire, I mean, what was the condition at that time? Why the mighty Mughals faced decline at once? So number one was administration. Administration was weak, and it was very difficult to rule or to admin the huge empire. So emperor could not know exactly what was happening in every part of the empire, and that is why Aurangzeb encouraged the use of mansabdars, like he appointed mansabdars in each and every area of the subcontinent, but still they were not reporting him correctly. So it was difficult to administer the huge empire. Well, military costs, because Mughals, they were already taking help or taking protection of the British soldiers, so for them it was very costly to pay soldiers and to make their military strong. The Mughal Empire was huge, and within the empire there was an array of different people and different religions. So emperors were continually fighting problems. Emperors were continually fighting rebellions. So the cost of putting down rebellions and fighting wars against invaders was enormous, right? Because if one leader wanted to conquer the other area of the other leader, then they had to fight, and when fight happened, lots of destruction happened in the empire, and that puts them a lot of cost. Alright, so a huge sums were wasted when emperors died, and there was a succession dispute. Obviously, if an emperor had 4 sons, then they must fight with each other that who will be the emperor after their father. So there was a huge cost spent on the succession dispute, and when Shah Jahan fell sick in 1657, all 4 sons ended up fighting to succeed him, and finally it was to avoid costly wars. Shah Jahan actually wanted to avoid that wars, but Aurangzeb decided to divide the empire between his 3 sons. But this was not successful, and succession dispute continued to erode the empire. So that was one of the major reason of the decline of the Mughal Empire. As you can see the pictures on your screen, that these pictures are the pictures of war of succession, that how one brother and his army is fighting with the other brother and his army, because if an emperor had 4 sons, just like I had given you the example of Aurangzeb, he distributed his empire into his 4 sons. But what they did, if one son have a specific territory, then he tried to conquer his son's territory as well. So how could he do that? By having a war with his brother. So lot of fighting basically erode the empire. Well, so consequences of success and declining military expertise, obviously when the empire was getting under control, then it was there were no experts in their military, and Mughals imagined that the success will continue forever. But Mughals led their armies, expertise declined until it was no longer an effective fighting force. Their force at that time was not very effective, and British, they were actually just buying their soldiers and they were making the part of the British army. So when Mughal strength was declining, discontented groups within the empire were quick to act. Then there were many forces who had decided that they will now this is the time, because Mughals are weak at this point, and this is the great time to conquer them. So when Mughal strength was declining, discontented groups within the empire were quick to act, and then they decided that they will attack. The next most important reason was weak control. They had no control on their empire, and emperors found it very difficult to control the rebellion because of their wealth and influence. Because the rebellions who wanted to attack the Mughal empire, they were rich, they were more in number, and Mughals, they were not that powerful to defend them, right? So with weak control from the center, the Mansabdari system was not sufficiently supervised, and administrative efficiently declined, and discontent grew, and revenue from tax collection declined, right? All right, so now we'll see that how did British arrive to subcontinent. Well, the Mughal empire was in serious decline by the end of the 18th century, and the East India Company tried to take advantage of the wealth to be gained by trade with India. Then they had decided to set a private company, and England had been the first country to experience the industrial revolution in subcontinent, right? So with the wealth this created, the British could afford a military strength which the Mughals could not match, and the weakness of the Mughal empire together with the strength of British meant that the fall of the mighty dynasty's history was almost inevitable. So this is how British actually they entered through trade. Well, I have told this thing to you guys many times. They entered to the subcontinent by gaining the permission of trade, and then they started intervening Mughal government, and then they captured most of and the largest provinces of the subcontinent, and then they ruled. So this is how the mighty Mughal empire came to an end, right? Students, well, I have just highlighted the very important points, but when you will start reading from page number 17, then you can read it in much detail, and the points which I have not mentioned in my lesson, you can read those points as well. And if you will not understand anything from your book or from your lesson, then you can text me. I will try to resolve your queries, okay? But doing all these things, the first most important thing, you have to attend your lesson, and the second most important thing, you have to solve your worksheets, right? So students, this is your assignments which you have to do necessarily, because it is the part of your syllabus. It is just like the classwork. When we enter to the class and we deliver our lesson, and right after that we assign you some kind of classwork or homework. So these worksheets are like that. So I hope you will try to solve the worksheets and try to submit your work in time. And inshallah, see you soon in our next lesson. Till then, just take care. Allah Hafiz.